Hello, this is What If Izuku Was an Argent. And before I get into this, I will say leave a like, go into the description, join the Discord. And with that said, hit that intro.
Let me come back in with some real exclusive shit. Take your index finger, cock it, GDK.
Now, last time that we left off, Izuku basically went to his home and basically started crafting something. As basically, what he started crafting was weapons. As he makes himself kind of a sword with the argent sign on it. I'll bring up the picture. Alright, so the arrows basically look like this right here. But imagine the tips being green and them having this sign on them. Now, basically he crafts himself some guns, and these arrows are basically imbued with wolfsbane. Except for putting wolfsbane on the edge of the bow and arrow. From Izuku being so smart, he basically dismantles the arrow and basically makes the inside hollow, which would affect how it basically flies. But the reason that he makes it hollow from the inside is because the tip is kind of like it's kind of like a needle, as wolfsbane is basically injected into the bloodstream. Now, when this happens, it causes a few reactions. It can start making you sickly. It could start causing a allergic reaction, because he mixes a few things with this, or it can just straight up just kill you from going into a vein. Now, basically, inside the 10 months of training, he's basically just working out. Like, at this point, I'm not giving him any special powers. He's just going to be a human. Now, at the end of the 10 months, he basically puts up all of his weapons. As for his bow and arrow, it's kind of like a foldable one, so he could put it inside of his pocket. And the arrows, he can just push those inwards and basically make them littler. And basically he heads over to the entrance exams. Now, as he enters into the entrance exams, basically everybody's looking at him weirdly, basically seeing something in his pocket, as they all looking at him, and they basically like, did he bring a weapon inside of here? Like, is that a part of his quirk? Like, they all confused. They just looking at him, as some of the people inside of there know him, and they're basically looking at him like, this quirkless loser is going to try and become a hero. Now, while they all looking at him, he basically just glares back at all of them, as he sits down inside of his chair, completely silent. Now, the test practitioner, the person that gives out the tests, basically comes through and puts down the test on the table. As the teacher basically explains about the test and basically says you'll have a written exam, then a physical exam. We'll go further into the physical exam after the test and after everyone's done. And after that, you'll take the test and you'll go home, and basically after you go home, you will either get something in the mail saying you've passed, or get something in the mail saying that you have failed. As he basically says, with that all said, you guys can start your tests. Now, as he says this, since Izuku's a lot smarter than he was inside of canon, he'd be able to... Sorry, I was fixing my headphones. He'd be able to... I just zoned out. he'd be able to finish the test a lot faster. That's what I mean. Now, he basically writes everything down on the papers as he basically is the first one to finish as he passed in his papers. And the hero's like, it's been 30 seconds. As he looks at him and he says, yeah, I'm done. As he passes in the paper and walks away. Now, as he does this, he basically sees everything on the paper completely finished. Basically, some corrections inside of his grammar. Like, he sees this kid overdid it. All in 30 seconds. As Izuku basically goes back to sit down. And basically, everybody else gets finished up. As, you know, he ain't gonna really meet Uraraka inside of this one. Like, inside of this exam. So that's not gonna happen. Okay, so basically, after all of this happening, you know, the person is explaining, you know, how all the robots work, basically saying there's a 0 pointer, that one will give you no points, and that one will cause the most amount of damage. So we'd prefer you just avoid that one. If you are able to destroy it, you can, but that's costing you your own points. As basically explains the 1 pointers, the 2 pointers, and the 3 pointers. As he basically says the 3 pointers are a lot bigger than the other ones, but not as big as the 0 pointer. As he says this, he then says, okay, everyone, line up. As they all get into a line, as they do, he then says, 3, 2, I don't know why I'm counting. The villains won't tell you when to go. Go! Now, when he says this, everybody starts running but Izuku. As Izuku basically slowly pulls something out of his pocket, as it reveals itself to be a bow and arrow. As everybody's like really confused on why he's not even moving. Now, he then takes out the arrows and put them inside the satchel. As he grabs 3 of them and he lines them up. And everyone basically sees a purple like smoke coming from the arrows. Now, he then lets go of the string as all the arrows just go flying. I'm talking about past literally every single person. Almost hitting some people, but, you know, just slightly missing. As, surprisingly to everybody, those arrows go straight through the buildings and hit 3 robots. Basically causing the robots to shut down as they all look at him. As he then pulls out 3 more arrows and does about the same thing. As he basically starts to slowly move up as he's taking out robot after robot. Like, I'm talking about, it's just straight up one after one, one after one, one after one. As everybody's basically looking at him inside of shock as the way that he's looking has not changed. It's just complete focus. He does not sense anyone else around him. All he can see is the enemy being destroyed. And that's the only thing he cares about. Now, he just keeps on pulling out more and more arrows. Until eventually he runs out of arrows. Well, the arrows that they saw before. And he pulls out regular pointed ones. As he basically starts booking it. Now, he starts climbing a building. One-handed, mind you. As they're looking at him basically like, how is he doing this? This kid does not look that buff. Now, as they're thinking this, he then gets on top of one of the buildings as he pulls out one of his arrows. As they see him inhale and exhale. As they see this, it's like a dead focus on every single robot in his path. Now, this one arrow then proceeds to look like it turns into multiple others. Now, as they're all looking at this, they basically are all in shock. as he lets go of the arrow, and the multiple arrows, well, the multiple things that look like multiple arrows basically all combine into one arrow, as the arrow basically inside of midair starts glowing purple. Now, as it does, it impacts one of the robots and does nothing but pierce it. Now, everybody's basically looking at it like that was kind of anticlimactic. Now, as they think this, that robot then blows up, and then 3 other robots get hit by the shockwave and just completely get destroyed. And those robots that were hit with the shockwave, some type of electricity comes out of those as they basically hit the other robots, completely destroying it. Now, everybody's looking at him in shock as he proceeds to do this over and over and over again, completely not changing anything about his stance, his breathing techniques. He's not even looking like he's sweating. He's inside of dead focus as he basically pulls out his last arrow, as he's getting ready to hit a robot with it, as he hears a scream. And as he hears this scream, he basically looks and he sees a girl about to get stepped on by the 0-pointer. Now, he then shoots this arrow at another robot and pulls out another arrow which nobody knew he had, as this one looks green with an argent symbol on it that is silver. Now, this one is a lot different from the others. They can tell it is. It looks like a normal arrow, but they can tell it's a lot different from the others just by the color alone. Now, as he pulls this, they then see a purple electricity basically coming from the, what is it called? Oh, they basically see it coming from the thing that he pulls. Sorry, I forgot. I don't know why I'm losing my train of thought. He basically pulls it back and aims at the robot as it starts to turn purple, and the entire bow basically starts to light up in electricity, as basically they see that the electricity is burning him, as the heroes are about to intervene. And as they are, inside of one foul motion, he lets go of the string, as the arrow starts just flying through the air, no sound. They don't even hear the string like flip back and start vibrating. Just silence. Everyone right there is completely silent as the arrow goes into the 0-pointer and green electricity starts to come out of it, as a purple type of, not slime, but taint starts spreading all over the 0-pointer as the 0-pointer completely freezes. Now, as this happens, Izuku's bow and arrow blows up, basically pinning itself inside of multiple walls, as his hands are at this point bloody, as the entire robot just fades into dust, as everybody looks at him in confusion and absolute I can't explain it. Like, they just look at him like, what the hell just happened on some. And as they looking at him, basically one of the heroes say, the test has just ended. As he says that, Izuku then passes out, as basically that's where I'm going to leave it off. If you guys enjoyed, please hit that like, subscribe, join the Discord, and with that said and done, have a nice day. Goodbye, and may God bless you.
I heard back, Tommy J. Gonna be, I heard back, Tommy J.